Learning never stops. I'm Andy Ford, President of the Florida Education Association. Here are a few things you can do at home to help make education and learning a priority. Talk to your child about school every day. Take your child on family outings to parks, community festivals, and local landmarks. Encourage your child to count money, calculate change, read menus, read newspapers, and write letters. Talk to your child about your family, the holidays you celebrate, and the foods you eat. Learning doesn't stop when your child gets home from school. It's just the beginning. Working together, parents and teachers can make this a successful school year for every student in Florida.
A message from the Florida Education Association. Great public schools are a basic right for every student.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Talk 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
There are a ton of social networking websites, but one stands apart for a very special reason. This one saves lives. It's MatchingDonors.com. MatchingDonors.com links organ donors with people in need of kidney and other transplants. In the U.S., 19 people die each day waiting for an organ transplant, most of them for kidneys. If you've ever considered becoming a living organ donor, or if you have someone in need of an organ transplant, visit MatchingDonors.com. Home of the greatest gift of all, the gift of life. MatchingDonors.com.
AM 1470 WNN with more of what you need to know. Tune in for No Bones About It with Dr. Alvin Stein, Tuesday mornings at 11 on South Florida's Health and Wealth Network. AM 1470 WNN.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement.
Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What you want to know. What you need to know. Talk 1470. WNN.
Are you saving for college? 529 college savings plans are offered by states to provide easy and affordable ways to save. Saving in advance is a key part of preparing for higher education and avoiding high student loan debt. National studies show that students with savings are much more likely to attend and graduate from college than students with no savings. For more information on how you can get started, visit collegesavings.org.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Schub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub, and tonight, like we always do, we will talk a little bit of golf. We'll talk a bunch of travel. We've got a cool guest that we'll be talking to in just a little bit. We'll be chatting with Tony Joseph, and he's the general manager of Cena, modern Italian restaurant in Delray Beach, where I had an opportunity to check out the menu a little bit on Wednesday night and meet with Tony and find out what's going on. And neat little town, a lot of good food, but you'll find some of it right there at Cena. So we'll find out a little bit more about how this restaurant is doing and some of the courses that I had an opportunity, or the entrees and the appetizers and desserts that I had a chance to taste, the wine. Some really good stuff there, so I think you'll enjoy hearing a little bit about that. Of course, I also do have some great deals for you. We've got deals for river cruising. We've got deals for Europe. We've got domestic deals. We've got North American deals. We've got deals. Our deals have deals. We got so many deals. So we save most of those for the end of the show. I may throw one in the beginning, just so that you have a little something to tide you over, a little snack. And first, why don't we talk a little bit of travel/golf? The past several weeks, I've been talking a lot about the Olympics, and golf, of course, is coming back to the Olympics for the first time in a long, long time. And they want to put their best foot forward, and at least on the United States side, it seems that there's been an issue, and not just the U.S., but even around the world, with players who have decided to opt out. And while the commissioner of the PGA has not made a big deal of it, others have. And, there are other countries that, don't have as many wonderful golfers perhaps as we have, or some of the European countries have, or the Asian countries have. There's other parts of the world where, for instance, Australia and South Africa, where there might be a handful of good golfers, one or two at the very top, and they're not coming. So these countries are really going to be hard-pressed to compete. And, part of the problem that I have covered and discussed more than I even choose to is the scheduling, and it's kind of unfortunate because they had so many years to plan for all of this, but to squeeze another event into the schedule, especially in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, it's a little bit off the beaten path. We've got all the majors, of course, that happen this time of year as well, and that's what the players are most focused on. So, they're just not playing. And, the other thing, of course, is that golfers are independent contractors. They don't play for a team. They are their own boss, so to speak. They plan their own schedule. A schedule isn't given to them that they have to play. So they kind of have the right to make some of these decisions, but it is unfortunate. But another problem that it seems that many of these golfers have been a little bit worried about perhaps, and haven't come right out and said it, is the Zika virus, which of course places like Rio, we've spoken a little bit about some of the water that's near there, some of the polluted water, the sewage issues, are breeding grounds for mosquitoes, of course, and they may have a bit of a problem. And just this week, the World Health Organization warned pregnant women about Zika ahead of the Olympics, and warned any women that are pregnant, think they might be pregnant, could be pregnant, and don't know about it, that they do not want to be there, or they at least need to stay away from some of the areas where the mosquitoes might be, which some people have estimated is at least half of the region or the area. So it's almost impossible. And, of course, many of the golfers are younger guys with younger wives and, are having families and stuff like that. So I do believe that is part of the problem. Now, there was also a comment from the director of the Convention Bureau from Rio de Janeiro, and his comment was that, malaria kills people, dengue kills people. People don't know much about Zika, and it's not much of a problem. I don't know how comfortable I feel with that, and I got to be honest with you, while I have not been to an Olympic Games before, and I would love to go, and I'm not a woman of childbearing age, so I wouldn't be worried about it. But if I was, I might wait 4 years and go to Japan or some other Olympics in my future. Obviously, if you're of the childbearing years, you've got time ahead of you, and there'll be more Olympics. And hopefully in the future it will be planned better, so the golfers won't be able to blame it on their tight schedule, and they will choose a location that has done a better job dealing with admitting there's a problem, dealing with the problem of the Zika virus, as well as their construction issues and pollution and environmental issues and construction issues and everything else that seems to have plagued these Olympics. So hopefully they will pull off some miracles and it'll be a great event. And I certainly wish all those folks that bought tickets and are traveling there the best. I hope they stay healthy and enjoy the games. But as far as the golf goes, it may be a bit less than what we were hoping for this time, and hopefully it doesn't doom it for the future, that they'll get more opportunities and perhaps have a better showing, or at least a better start to the Olympics, at leading up to it, so that they have a better chance for success. I had mentioned that I might throw out a deal early in the show for you all, and here's one that relates to golf. So we like to talk golf earlier in the show, so I figured I'd throw this one out. This is a resort that I have not stayed at in particular. I've stayed at many other locations in this chain, and I do respect them. I've certainly been to the location and have not played golf there, but I've heard wonderful things about it. And this would be, this would be the Palm Springs area, actually Indian Wells. And this resort is the Hyatt Regency Indian Wells Resort, which does have 36 holes of championship golf that's highly regarded right there on site. Of course, plenty of tennis as well. It's just outside of, the cool area, the shopping areas, the downtown areas, the funky areas of Palm Springs that I have stayed downtown, and I really have enjoyed it. So this is obviously a little bit outside that, but beautiful mountain views and a spa. And in season, of course, it'll definitely tax your budget a little bit in season. Palm Springs in season can be pricey, but the summertime it's the desert. So let's face it, it gets a little bit hot out there. But if you are nearby to where I'm sitting right now, you're certainly used to the heat and the humidity. And of course, the heat out there in the desert is very dry. So to us, it doesn't seem quite the same or maybe quite as hot. So if you like the heat, you can get out there for probably half price or so, if not less than half price that you would pay in season. As little as $99 weekdays can get you a room here. That would be a standard king Sundays through Thursdays. Fridays and Saturdays, it's an upcharge of $60. Although they do have a special for a 2-night weekend stay for $239, so that comes to only $119.50 per night. And you also can get a penthouse suite weekdays for $179. It's a $120 upcharge for weekends. And they do have a special for that as well, only $519 for a 2-night weekend for a penthouse suite arriving on Fridays. They reduced the resort fee as part of this program to $5. It's normally $25, which is not unusual for resorts these days, but $5 sounds much better to me. There are a couple of blackout dates in the summer months. And I do advise that you do not wait. I'm trying to see if there is a deadline on this. The dates that it's good for, other than a couple of blacked out dates, are June 8th through September 8th. And this is one of those deals on Travel Zoo where you need to buy a voucher. So I don't see a deadline, but it'll just disappear when it's done or as it gets closer to the dates that you have to use it. So I would advise you not to wait too long. So Travel Zoo, if you do a little search for it, just look under, California or Palm Springs and you'll find it. That's the Hyatt Resort at some pretty good discounts, if you ask me. Also, golf related, I wanted to give a little shout out to one of the local clubs in our area. Quail Ridge, which is in Boynton Beach, they are going to be hosting the U.S. Women's Open Sectional Qualifier on Monday, May 23rd. So that's just around the corner. So there's a lot of local folks, some people that have kind of kicked around for a while playing on the tour, like Annette DeLuca, who has played. She has had a runner-up finish in the 1999 Sunrise Hawaiian Ladies Open, and she's been in the area doing a lot of good work, a lot of charity work in the area for a long time. So she's going to try and qualify. And, of course, the U.S. Open is open to anybody. You don't have to be a pro. You do have to have a game. You do have to have a low handicap, of course, to be able to do it. But it's just nice to have those kudos associated that you're good enough to have an event like this. So it's right here in our backyard. So I just wanted to mention a little shout-out to the good folks at Quail Ridge. I think what we're going to do is we are going to take a very quick break. And then we're going to be back, and I've got a little bit more travel information for you, some neat stuff going on with the airlines, with the hotels, with the cruise lines, and give you an update as to what's going on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show. We'll be right back. And we are back. And if your business needs industrial workers, or if you're looking for work, you got to call Labor Finders, because Labor Finders places for temporary or temporary to hire opportunities for skilled, semi-skilled, or general labor positions such as plumbers, electricians, concrete workers, forklift operators, office clerical workers, and so much more. Labor Finders has almost 200 offices nationwide. Near here in Boca Raton, they have offices in Homestead, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and in Jupiter. So if you need legal, insured, hard workers, or if you're looking for work, call Labor Finders toll free at 800-864-7749. That's 800-864-7749, or visit laborfinders.com. And we are back. And, Arizona, I'm actually heading there very shortly. And Arizona, going to get to play a little bit of golf. I'm not quite sure where, maybe where I'm staying. I'm actually staying at a place called Wecopa, which was a deal I found on TravelZoo, which is still there. So if anybody else is interested, they can still find that there. Wecopa is just outside of Scottsdale, Arizona, right on the edge of the desert and the mountains. And this particular hotel is a Indian hotel, so it's I guess an Indian reservation similar to the Seminoles here in Florida. And they have a beautiful hotel with a casino next door, and two beautiful golf courses, very highly regarded as well. So while the golf is not included, I do have some clients or some customers that I need to entertain out there that do enjoy playing golf. So I'm going to fortunately spend my work day playing golf, which is always a treat for me. But this hotel, which I mean, it's not a 5-star resort, let's face it. It's kind of on the edge of nowhere, and maybe a 3 to 4 star kind of a property. And the casino is a little bit old and not fancy. It's not the caliber of our Hard Rock that we have down the highway from here. But I got a rate, and again, off season, $79 for the night. And typically they have a $25 resort fee like everybody else. It's waived. The taxes and everything else was about another $10, which, the resort fee that I got waived included parking, so there's no fee for parking. I believe water in my room, Wi-Fi in my room. So pretty much everything is included that I need other than the golf, which that's a whole nother story. It is highly rated and not cheap. And this time of year, it's a little bit over $100, which for me, this time of year, what I'm used to here in Florida seems a bit high. But they are beautiful desert golf courses. One has fairways that are a tiny bit wider. The other one that's more typical desert target type golf. They don't have keeping grass alive out there is expensive. It consumes a lot of water, so they often try to kind of keep things narrow as far as the fairways go, and you really have to have your A game so that you don't end up with your golf ball stuck to a cactus. But if your game, if you don't hit the ball straight, you could play the one that has the more generous fairways. So I may very well get to play there. So obviously I'll report back to you all in 2 weeks, because I will be out there next Friday. So you'll hear a previously recorded show. From there, I am heading to Sedona to check out Sedona, the beautiful Red Rocks, staying at the Hilton out there where I stayed at before. When I stayed there, it was nice, but I felt it maybe was, on the verge of kind of needing an upgrade and a renovation, and I'm pleased to say that they did put millions of dollars into it since I've been there, which wasn't that long ago, so it should all be quite new. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But that part of the country, those Red Rocks, especially, I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to play golf there. I may not. But when you do play golf, or when you take the little drives that they have through the Red Rocks, or hike, just breathtaking. Of course, known for their spas. I hope to get an opportunity to check out a spa. I am going to do something that I've never done before, but always looked pretty cool, which is those pink four-wheel drive vehicles, or pink Jeeps that they, I guess they're kind of a franchise because they have them in many different locations. I've seen them, but they do have them there. So I am going to get to go out in the desert and see what's going on in the desert. And I'm truly looking forward to it. From there, I'm going to pop over to Denver and hopefully, I know I'm going to spend a couple hours downtown right in the middle of Lodo. I've yet to spend time in downtown Denver, so I'm looking forward to it. Staying at a pretty cool property as well. I'll tell you more about it when I come back. And trying to get around to golfing as well, trying to reach out to Cherry Hills, which obviously is an extremely exclusive private course, and see if I could get out there. If not, I'm not sure what I will do. May take a drive into the mountains as well and check out the mountains of Colorado. Flying on Southwest, my favorite airline, which I'm glad every leg of this trip is on Southwest. Going to be checking my bags because, of course, I've got my golf clubs that I will be taking with me. But all of this kind of leads up to a story that's been circulating in the news the past couple of days especially. First of all, involving the TSA and how the lines are starting to get really long, and how many people are starting to get very concerned as we're heading into the busiest travel time of the year. While a lot of people, perhaps due to some fears with terrorism, have decided perhaps to postpone a European vacation, although we'll talk a little bit more about that later because obviously there's good deals because of that. But many people have decided to stay domestic, which is just making the crunch that much worse. And the TSA, in their infinite wisdom, were not prepared for this at all. And now they are scrambling, trying to hire more people, but with 3% unemployment in this country and needing to hire people that obviously have certain skills and know how to, work hard and work fast and work well, they're having a hard time finding those people. So, New York City, for instance, the Transit Authority, the MTA, that operates the three major airports in New York, LaGuardia and Kennedy and Newark, they've made it abundantly clear to the TSA that they are not pleased whatsoever, and that if they don't clean up their act real quick, that they're going to investigate outsourcing security at their airports, which, by the way, about 40 or 50 airports around the country already do. It seems that using the TSA is an option. I'm sure that there's certain levels of security that airports need to have, but they can do it privately. And obviously that would make it even more money for the system, more difficult for the system, because obviously they're gaining revenue from all of these different locations. And if they have less locations, less revenue, could be another issue for the TSA. So it's, other folks like hotel owners and operators and visitors and convention bureaus from different locations are now getting on board as well and expressing their displeasure. So it's becoming quite a problem. So, and on top of all of this, just a day or two ago, 3,000 suitcases got stranded at the Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix that I'm flying to, and out of, with my golf clubs that I hope I'll be able to use the very next morning and play. The folks at the airport are claiming a computer glitch that forced the bags to get checked or stuck in TSA, for their screenings that they do. So everybody was blaming the TSA. The TSA is saying it was a computer glitch and a one-time event. But 3,000 bags that didn't make their flights, it's not giving me a warm and fuzzy feeling whatsoever. So, and then on top of that, just in the past day or so as well, 2 senators, U.S. senators, have urged that the airlines temporarily stop charging passengers baggage fees because they believe that that's part of the problem as well. That at least for the summer season, that it's just adding to the problems. I'm not sure exactly why they believe that would happen. I don't know. American and Delta Airlines, they responded to this, and they said that that they're going to actually loan some of their employees to the TSA to handle low-level tasks so that the regular TSA folks can be more on the front lines and stuff. It sounds like a bit of a mess to me. So obviously that's another thing that I won't be shy, and I will make certain to inform everybody upon my return from my trip and see how the airport out there is doing, and if they've made any progress in this, which I certainly hope so. So it remains to be seen. Let's change gears a little bit and talk about hotels. One of the chains that I do like to talk about quite frequently is the Hilton chain. The other one I talk a lot about is the Marriott chain, which of course just acquired the Starwood brand, so they've gotten much bigger, and it's causing Hilton to kind of up their game a little bit. And the hotel chains, it's getting very competitive, especially due to mergers and acquisitions. If there's less competition, it makes it very different. But what happened with that particular merger, hopefully, or at least according to Marriott, it's going to make them very strong because they're combining their programs, their affinity programs. They're going to make them stronger and better. Who knows? But now Hilton has to, of course, counteract what Marriott and Starwood are doing. And one of the new perks for customers, and this is customers who only use direct booking, and that's another issue with a lot of the travel agents out there. The hotels, the airlines, they're all trying to get more and more people to book direct and cut out middlemen, because there are fees that obviously have to be paid, commissions that have to be paid to the folks that assist travelers. And for those folks that still like to use travel agents, and many of you are out there, it's becoming an issue. If all of the fees were to dry up, then travel agents would have to charge for their services, which would make people not want to use them. So for better or worse, places like Hilton are trying to encourage people, and they're offering perks for folks who will go directly to their website and book direct and not use a travel agent or a third party like Expedia, Travelocity, any of those folks. TripAdvisor, now you could book directly with hotels, not only read the reviews, but you can actually book. And all of them get a fee that comes from the hotels or the airlines. So this new feature that Hilton has decided to offer, or at least improve, is using Google Maps. And what they are able to do now through Google Maps is actually enable you to find out a room and the view that you would actually see when looking out the window in that room. And then you could book that room based upon liking the view. So, just another attempt to provide better service to the customers, because obviously people sometimes will go to a room and look at it and maybe they won't like it, so then they go back downstairs and they have to ask for a different room, so it takes time. So this kind of automates that process, but it also makes it quick and easier for the customer to be happy and to be satisfied. It may also substantiate upgraded rooms too. You can always pay more money to get a room with a view. Is it worth it? Well, who knows? You've always had to kind of make that commitment, more or less sight unseen. Now, if you can see what a beautiful view you're paying for, you may be more likely to do it. So it's technology at its finest, and I kind of like to see it. Hilton it hasn't been so long ago that they introduced the ability for you to check into your room and pick which room you want on your phone, your smartphone. But now they've taken it just a little bit further. So I kind of like that idea, and I am still a fan of Hilton as well. Also, something that I've spoken about too much in the past that I'm going to get a chance in the future to experience, and I'm not going to be thrilled with it, I'm sure, and that would be Las Vegas and hotel casinos charging folks to park in their garages. And it's always been something that the public, the traveling public, the gambling public in Las Vegas has enjoyed as a perk. And, of course, when you give people something that they use, over and over again and they enjoy, it's kind of hard to take it away from them. And people are not going to be happy about this. This is the MGM Group, which includes hotels such as Bellagio, Aria, MGM Grand, Mandalay Bay, Mirage, New York, Monte Carlo, Luxor, Excalibur, etc., Circus. And depending upon the level of hotel, they're charging about $10 a day for some of them. to park. Valet is a little bit extra on top of that, like $13, and some of their premier locations, they may even be charging a little bit more. This is going into effect, I believe, in June 6th. And like I say, not pleased with it. I won't be heading out to Las Vegas again until maybe October or so, but I will probably factor this into my cost. I always remind everybody to look at all those miscellaneous charges, that add up before you make any commitments. And, if you're staying for several days,